Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Books and Bytes. Today, we're diving deep into a book that's become almost legendary, especially in the business world. Trump, The Art of the Deal.
Oh, yeah, it's such a fascinating read. Part memoir, part blueprint. For Trump's success, you get a glimpse into his personal philosophy on deal making, his early life and influences, and a look at some of the key deals that shaped his career.
Yeah, and right from the start, you get hit with this incredible confidence from him. He doesn't just want to make deals, he wants to make the biggest, the best, the most talked about deals, almost like the art of the spectacle, where controversy is just part of the process.
That's so true. And, that's a theme we see throughout the book, this power of perception. Trump understands that image and presentation are just as important as the actual deal itself. He knows how to generate buzz, work the media, and create this larger-than-life persona that just draws people in.
There's a line early on that really stuck with me. I don't do it for the money. I've got enough, much more than I'll ever need. I do it to do it. Deals are my art form. It's like he's saying deal making isn't just a job. It's an expression of who he is.
Absolutely. And that artistic approach is really evident in how he describes his process. He talks about thinking big, using leverage, protecting the downside, maximizing options, knowing your market. All these elements come together like brushstrokes on a canvas.
He even compares himself to a gambler, but not in the traditional sense. Remember that quote, I don't gamble because I always win. Obviously not literally true, but it highlights his belief in minimizing risk and tilting the odds in his favor.
Right. Like he says he prefers to own the slot machines, to control the game rather than play it blindly. This combination of calculated risk and carefully crafted perception seems to be at the heart of his success.
So where does this unique approach to deal-making come from? Well, the book delves into Trump's upbringing, and it's clear his family, especially his father, played a huge role.
Yeah. Fred Trump was a successful builder in his own right, known for his discipline, work ethic, and ability to get things done. He instilled in Donald a strong sense of competition, a drive to succeed, and a keen eye for opportunity.
The book paints this picture of a young Donald, constantly observing his father, learning the ropes, and absorbing those essential business principles. There's this anecdote about Fred building homes in Brooklyn and always finishing months ahead of his competitors with better quality and at lower costs. It's like a blueprint for the Trump way of doing things.
Yeah, and it wasn't just about observing. Donald was actively involved in the family business from a young age. He'd spend summers working on construction sites, collecting rent, learning the value of hard work, and attention to detail.
You can see how those early experiences shaped his approach. He talks about developing a killer instinct early on, a willingness to fight for what he wants and never back down from a challenge.
Right, and it wasn't just his father who influenced him. The book also highlights the contrasting personalities within the Trump family. His mother, Mary, had a love for splendor and magnificence, a taste for the finer things, which clearly rubbed off on Donald.
It's almost like he inherited this unique blend of his father's practicality and drive, combined with his mother's appreciation for aesthetics and showmanship. And that combination is what really sets him apart.
Absolutely. He learned to balance the nuts and bolts of construction
Yeah.
and negotiation with the art of creating a brand, an image, a story that captures people's attention.
So we've got this young Donald Trump, armed with his father's business acumen and his mother's sense of style, ready to make his mark. But he doesn't start in the glamorous world of Manhattan skyscrapers. Instead, he cuts his teeth managing Swifton Village, an apartment complex in Cincinnati.
And that's where we see those early lessons put to the test. He faces challenges with dishonest employees, a declining neighborhood, and a tough real estate market.
He even has this hilarious encounter with a manager named Irving, who he suspects is stealing from the company, but keeps him on because he's so effective at collecting rent. It's classic Trump move, pragmatism over principles.
That focus on results over process. It's a recurring theme. He's willing to break with convention, bend the rules, and even work with unsavory characters. If it means getting the deal done, it's a high-risk, high-reward approach that clearly paid off in many cases.
And it's in Swifton Village that we see his uncanny ability to sense market shifts. Based on a casual conversation with a tenant, he decides to sell the complex just before the neighborhood takes a downturn, demonstrating a keen instinct for timing and an ability to glean insights from unexpected sources.
That story highlights another key element of his philosophy, trusting your gut. He's not afraid to go against conventional wisdom, to make decisions based on intuition and a deep understanding of the market, even if it means going against the advice of experts.
So he's learned the ropes in Cincinnati, made a tidy profit, And now he's got his sights set on the Big Apple, Manhattan. This is where things really start to get interesting.
It's like he arrives in Manhattan in the early 70s, and it's like stepping onto a bigger stage, you know? He's not dealing with apartment rentals in Ohio anymore. He's in the arena of luxury high-rises, celebrity connections, and cutthroat competition.
Yeah, he doesn't just dip his toes in the water. He dives right in head first. He's rubbing elbows with the city's elite at Le Club, navigating the complex world of zoning laws and building permits, and assembling this team of lawyers, architects, and contractors who can help him realize his ambitious vision.
And that's crucial, right? He knows he can't do it alone. Throughout the book, he really emphasizes the importance of building a strong team, people he can trust to execute his vision. He talks about loyalty as a core value, and he surrounds himself with individuals who share his drive and ambition.
Well, he's also not afraid to court controversy. Like, remember his relationship with Roy Cohn, the lawyer with a reputation for being ruthless and aggressive.
Oh, yeah. Cohn becomes a key figure. In Trump's early Manhattan deals, he was known for his ability to navigate the city's legal and political landscape, even if it meant pushing the boundaries of what was considered ethical.
Yeah, and it's clear that Trump admires that kind of tenacity, that willingness to fight for what you believe in, even if it makes you unpopular, which really resonates with his own approach to deal-making. Never back down, never give an inch.
Exactly. And that brings us to one of his first major triumphs in Manhattan. The Commodore Hotel deal. This is like a classic example of how he takes a seemingly impossible situation and turns it into a gold mine.
Yeah, the Commodore was this rundown, almost derelict hotel in a declining neighborhood. Most people saw it as a lost cause. But Trump saw potential. He envisioned transforming it into a glittering symbol of luxury and revitalizing the entire Grand Central area in the process.
But you know, it wasn't just about vision, it was about strategy. He knew he needed to leverage every advantage, every connection, every ounce of his persuasive power to make this deal happen.
He had to secure financing during a recession, negotiate with the city for tax abatements, and convince the Hyatt hotel chain to partner with him. It was this complex web of negotiations and maneuvering, and he had to be at the top of his game to pull it off.
It's amazing. One of the most striking aspects of this deal is how he uses the city's desperation to his advantage. New York was facing a financial crisis at the time, and he was able to position the Commodore project as a win-win, a way to revitalize a struggling area and generate much-needed revenue. It was brilliant, framing a deal in a way that benefits everyone involved, at least on the surface.
And he also demonstrates this mastery of using the press. He knows how to generate buzz, create headlines, and keep the public interested in his project. Even negative press could be turned to his advantage, as long as people are talking about him.
The Commodore deal was a major turning point for him. It really solidified his reputation as a savvy businessman, a dealmaker who could take on seemingly impossible projects and deliver results. But it was just a stepping stone to his most ambitious project yet, Trump Tower.
This is where things really start to get exciting. He sets his sights on the most coveted piece of real estate in Manhattan, the Bonwit-Teller site on Fifth Avenue.
I mean, securing this location was like conquering Mount Everest. In the world of New York real estate, he was up against established players, powerful institutions, and a complex web of zoning regulations and legal hurdles.
He was determined to make it happen, though. He orchestrated this series of intricate deals, acquiring the land lease from Genesco, securing air rights from Tiffany & Co., and even negotiating with a small family for a crucial piece of land that stood in his way.
This is where his negotiating skills really shine. He talks about using a quick letter of intent to prevent Genesco from backing out of the deal, a tactic that highlights his ability to think on his feet and act decisively.
He also cleverly uses the city's desire to keep Bonwit-Teller in New York to his advantage, securing zoning variances that allow him to build a taller, more luxurious tower than would otherwise be permitted.
He even manages to convince the City Planning Commission to approve his desired design by presenting them with a truly hideous alternative, an 80-story box. That would have been an eyesore on Fifth Avenue. It was brilliant. Make your actual proposal seem like the best option by offering a truly terrible alternative.
Yeah, the construction of Trump Tower becomes a saga in itself, filled with challenges, controversies, and setbacks. But he navigates them all with his combination of tenacity, creativity, and that unwavering belief in his own ability to overcome any obstacle.
Of course, the Trump Tower project, it wasn't without its share of controversies. You know, the demolition of those Art Deco friezes from the original Bonwit-Teller building. I mean, it sparked public outcry, accusations that he was prioritizing profit over preserving architectural heritage.
Yeah, it was a PR nightmare for sure. And even Trump admits in the book that he regrets how it was handled. It shows how important it is to think about public sentiment and the potential backlash, especially when you're dealing with landmarks or culturally significant structures. Sometimes even the shrewdest deal can be tarnished by negative public perception.
Absolutely. And it's interesting how he reflects on those missteps. He doesn't shy away from acknowledging his mistakes, but he always frames them as learning experiences, opportunities to refine his approach and become an even more effective deal maker.
Yeah, there's a good lesson in that for all of us. It's not just about celebrating successes. It's about analyzing failures, understanding where things went wrong, and using those lessons to improve your strategy.
Exactly. He even says, sometimes part of making a deal is knowing when to walk away.
Yeah, and he faced plenty of challenges. During the construction of Trump Tower, zoning disputes, community opposition, even a lawsuit over the building's height, it seemed like every step of the way, someone was trying to block his progress.
It's true. But he always fought back, using his legal team, his media savvy, and his sheer determination to overcome each obstacle. Remember when he took his fight for a tax exemption all the way to the state's highest court and won? I mean, that tenacity, that refusal to back down, it's a hallmark of his approach.
Yeah, he really portrays himself as a fighter, someone who thrives on confrontation and isn't afraid to take on powerful adversaries. And that's reflected in the way he describes his negotiating style. Always pushing for the best possible terms, never settling for less than he believes he deserves.
One of the most memorable passages in the book is his description of the art of the deal as a kind of combat, where you need to be prepared to go to war to achieve your objectives. He writes, you can't be afraid to be confrontational, you can't be afraid to fight back.
And that aggressive approach is definitely evident in the way he deals with contractors, suppliers, even his own employees. He demands loyalty, expects results, and isn't afraid to hold people accountable, even if it means being tough or demanding.
But it's not just about being a bully. He also emphasizes the importance of building relationships, finding common ground, making deals that benefit everyone involved. He believes in the power of win-win scenarios, even if those wins are often tilted in his favor.
And he's a master at using leverage. He understands how to identify someone's weaknesses, their needs, their desires, and use that information to his advantage. In a negotiation, he's always looking for an angle, a way to gain an advantage, and he's not afraid to exploit those opportunities.
Oh, and he's incredibly skilled at controlling the narrative. He knows how to spin a story, generate buzz, create an image that works to his advantage. He understands the power of perception and uses it masterfully to shape public opinion and advance his own interests.
Trump Tower ultimately became this symbol of his success, this towering monument to his ambition.
Oh.
And his ability to turn a dream into reality. It attracted celebrities, foreign buyers, anyone who wanted a piece of the Trump brand.
Yeah.
And it cemented his status as a major player in New York real estate and launched him into the national spotlight.
And the book doesn't just chronicle his business triumphs. It also offers insights into his personal life, his family dynamics, and the experiences that shaped his worldview. We learn about his relationship with his father, the competitive environment he grew up in, and the loss of his brother, Freddie, which had a profound impact on him.
Yeah, those personal glimpses. They add another layer to our understanding of Trump. They humanize him, reminding us that even the most successful and seemingly invincible individuals are shaped by their experiences, their relationships, and their vulnerabilities.
So what can we take away? From our deep dive into the art of the deal, I think it's clear that Trump is a complex and contradictory figure. He's a brilliant businessman, a master showman, a ruthless negotiator, and a loyal friend. He's a man of contradictions, driven by ambition, ego, and a deep-seated need to win.
The book offers a glimpse into the forces that shaped him, the strategies that propelled him to success, and the flaws that have often led to controversy and criticism. It's a fascinating and thought-provoking read. That leaves us with more questions than answers.
It challenges us to examine our own definitions of success, to consider the ethics of deal-making, and to reflect on the impact of ambition and the relentless pursuit of wealth and power.
I think it's safe to say, The Art of the Deal is more than just a business book. It's a window into the mind of one of the most influential and polarizing figures of our time. Whether you admire him or despise him, there's no denying that Donald Trump has left an indelible mark on American culture and the world of business.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us today on this deep dive into Trump, the art of the deal. We hope you found it informative, engaging, and maybe even a little bit unsettling.
Yeah, and be sure to join us next time for another episode of Books and Bytes, where we'll continue to explore the world of ideas, one book at a time,